Minister of Health, first come, first serve as 50,000 second doses of Russian Sputnik V vaccine arrives. Quarantine man fatally beaten during altercation with a neighbor. Man arrested for attempting to bribe a police to drop narcotics investigation. In the region, Chile Congress set to vote on fourth withdrawal of pension fund, and internationally, the Palma volcano, high alert as lava approaches the water. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. The Ministry of Health last evening received 50,000 doses of the Russian Sputnik V second dose vaccine. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said, and the administering of the shots will commence on Wednesday, September 29th, and it will be done on a first-come, first-served basis throughout the country. Approximately 80,000 persons are awaiting their second dose of the Sputnik V vaccine, many of whom have been waiting for months. Ghana had been receiving small amounts of the second dose of the Sputnik V vaccines. However, on Friday, President Dr. Ilham Ali assured that the vaccines would arrive soon, and since the government was making every effort to ensure the population is fully immunized against the virus. However, the US government announced that as of November, persons vaccinated with the Russian Sputnik V vaccines will likely not be allowed access into the country since the vaccines has not been approved by the World Health Organization for emergency use. Despite this, the Ministry of Health continues to encourage people to get vaccinated because the vaccine is still safe and effective against the Delta variant strain. A man is being held in police custody after allegedly fatally beating his neighbor. Esther Sovereign has more.
A 38-year-old man is now in police custody for allegedly beating a 29-year-old male to death on Monday night. Dead is Lakaram Durup, called Vidish, of Lot 95, Number 2 Village, Corentyne, Berbice. The deceased and the victim lives in the same yard. According to a police investigation, around 11 p.m., the deceased and the suspect were involved in an argument over the dead man's wife. After the misunderstanding, both men went into the yard. The deceased continued to curse and abuse the suspect before choking him. The suspect got angry and picked up a wooden bat, hitting Durup to the right hand, forehead, and back. The deceased subsequently fell on the concrete and became unconscious. He was picked up by the suspect, who took him into the house, where he applied lime alcohol and water to his head, but the 29-year-old man failed to regain consciousness. He was taken to the Skellon Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The body was taken to the Skellon Public Hospital mortuary, awaiting a post-mortem examination. Investigation into the matter are ongoing. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. One man is behind bars after allegedly attempting to bribe a law enforcement officer in exchange for the release of a family member detained on drug charges. A 44-year-old man was arrested on September 27 for narcotics possession, according to the report. The cousin of the detained man, a 35-year-old male, around noon on the same day, approached an inspector at the Golden Grove police station and offered the officer $40,000 in cash to abstain from conducting the investigation. The accused inexplicably left the station and returned with $32,000 in cash, which he handed over to the inspector in the presence of a corporal. As a result, the suspect was immediately arrested and taken into custody. Don't go away after the break. GPHC debunks claims of turning away unvaccinated patients, and police are investigating two separate accidents involving motorcycles and a car.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold, and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
For decades, milk has remained the same. Until now. Introducing the Great Dairy Full Cream Milk from Alabama Trading. Enriched with vitamins A to D and calcium to promote healthy teeth, strong bones, and vitality. Great Dairy Milk is delicious and fortified to encourage healthy cell growth within the body. No wonder it's the #1 brand of milk produced in Ireland. Now available nationwide in 400-gram packages at leading supermarkets and wholesale vendors. Distributed by Alabama Trading.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop Through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop price smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Welcome back. Following reports that people were being turned away from the government health facilities because they were not vaccinated, the management of the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation issued a statement clarifying that patients seeking care at any of their facilities are not required to present proof of vaccination to enter the compounds. As stipulated by the Ministry of Health's advisory circulated on August 12, 2021, it says, any patient seeking care at any public health facility across the 10 administrative regions, whether vaccinated or not, must be allowed access to health care. The GPHC's management remains committed to ensuring that all their staff are advised of the protocols. The corporation assures that any reports of patients being denied access to care will be promptly investigated and remedied. Police are investigating 2 separate accidents involving motorcycles and cars. Here is more from Esther Sobers.
Police are investigating a fatal accident in the Palma Public Road, East Kanji, Berbice on Monday. Dead is 69-year-old Abdul Rahim Laceman of Woodley Park, West Coast, Berbice. Inquiries disclosed that around 10:30 a.m. motorcycle CF4743 driven by Laceman was proceeding south along the public road ahead of hire car HC8500 driven by 59-year-old Marlon Waters of Manchester Village, Corentyne, Berbice. Reports are that the car proceeded to overtake the motorcycle. In the process of overtaking, the car collided with the motorcycle. As a result of the collision, the motorcyclist fell on the car's front window screen and then to the road, causing him to receive injuries to his head and body. He was transported to the New Amsterdam Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival by a doctor on duty. The body is at the Arokeum Funeral Home awaiting a post-mortem examination. A breathalyzer test was done on the driver, revealed that he was not under the influence of alcohol. He was arrested and awaiting charges. Meanwhile, another motorbike accident was reported early this morning on the Schoonard Public Road, West Bank, Demerara. Inquiries disclosed at around 1:30 a.m. motorcyclist CK9128, driven by 48-year-old Robert Moore of Underdeeming, West Bank, Demerara, was proceeding south along the public road ahead of hire car HG2241, driven by 22-year-old Clint Christopher of Tushin Housing Scheme, East Bank, Essequibo. The car was proceeding at a fast pace and subsequently allegedly collided with the motorcycle. As a result of the collision, the motorcyclist and two pillion rider, an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old, fell onto the road receiving injuries. They were picked up in a conscious state and taken to the West Denrara Regional Hospital. They were seen and examined by a doctor on duty who admitted them as patients, all in stable condition. Breathalyzer tests were conducted on the driver of the car. He was found to be under the influence of alcohol. He remains in custody assisting with investigations. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobert.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away after the break. Chile Congress sets to vote on fourth withdrawal of pension fund, and up to 90% of UK petrol pumps dry amid panic buying. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop Through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop price smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Kingdom-based taxi service, transportation for every occasion. Short drop, airport, weddings, funerals, and much more. We're located at Lot H. Durbin and Vicingen Road, next to Green City Bar. For honest, efficient, and reliable service, call Kingdom-based taxi service at 648-5959 or 227-7937. You can count on us.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Chileans have been allowed to draw from their retirement funds to help get them through the coronavirus pandemic. Now, Congress is set to vote on a controversial fourth withdrawal. It has been popular with voters, but The Economist warns that it could destroy the pension scheme and fund inflation. Al Jazeera's Lucy Newman reports.
It was supposed to be an exception, a law passed to allow Chileans to dip into their pension savings just once to offset pandemic hardships. A year later, 67-year-old Guillermina Gutierrez is hoping that Congress will approve a fourth withdrawal of 10% of her remaining savings, which are now practically gone.
If it weren't for the pension withdrawals, I couldn't have paid the rent. It's been my salvation.
After more than 40 years of working in the health sector, Guillermina Gutierrez retired, but you'd never know it. She says it's impossible to survive on her $180 a month pension, so she works 5 days a week as a podiatrist to make ends meet. Chile's private pension funds, or AFPs, are widely unpopular, but they're also key for maintaining large capital markets and therefore financial stability. Former central bank director Rodrigo Vergara says the withdrawals are a terrible idea.
So mortgages are now more expensive. Long-term funding for medium-sized companies have become more difficult. Even the funding for government bonds, long-term government bonds in local currency is more expensive now. And this is very much related to these withdrawals.
The AFPs have lost over $45 billion in pension withdrawals. One more, if approved, could put the final nail in their coffin. Most ordinary Chileans say they'd rather have money in their pockets today, regardless of what it will mean for their pensions tomorrow. But there's another more immediate problem.
Having too much money in circulation is not always a good thing because it can provoke something that sparks fear in the hearts of everyone. That is inflation, something that Chile has been able to avoid at least until now. But the constant withdrawals of pension funds has contributed to a massive increase in consumption in this country of everything you can imagine, from cars to knickknacks like this. And that has increased inflation from 3 to 6% this year alone.
Economic analysts believe upcoming elections are the reason why politicians are nevertheless contemplating yet another withdrawal.
It doesn't make any sense from an economic point of view. It's a bad public policy. It doesn't make any sense from a public policy point of view.
Asked about having almost no retirement savings left, Guillermina Gutierrez consoles herself by saying she couldn't have survived on her pension anyway. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Santiago.
Internationally, the UK government says it's working to ensure fuel supply issues are resolved following days of long queues at petrol stations, with many forced to close. Al Jazeera's Andrew Simmons reports.
A new working week, and this isn't the normal London morning gridlock. The fuel station here ran dry 2 days ago. It's been waiting for this moment. Tanker drivers are in short supply, not the fuel. Whatever, the result's the same. Misery for some, not panic buying. Ada Babatovci ran out of fuel 100 meters from the petrol pumps after a search that started in the early hours.
And I was very emotional, so I cried. I cried with all this. It's absolutely unnecessary. I cried and I feel so emotional. I think probably a lot of people were going through a similar way.
Lives disrupted. This driving instructor trying to get fuel to prepare his learners for their driving tests.
I've got about 5-6 tests coming up between now and next week. So I was really and truly terrified what might happen for these guys' test. So I've been going around like headless chicken around London. Nothing.
An opinion poll suggests that more than 60% of voters feel the government is mishandling the situation, and some of the messaging from ministers isn't helping the public mood.
The only reason that we have an issue at the moment with some petrol stations not having petrol in the forecourts is that people are buying petrol and they wouldn't. The most important thing everyone can do is just get back to normal, fill their cars up as they normally would, and not buy petrol unless they need it.
It would seem to be wishful thinking that this crisis is going to go away without government action. Crisis? What crisis has been the government's stance up to now? Now it's changing because people don't like being referred to as panic buyers in a situation such as this. There is a tide of public dissent. And so the pressure is on the government as the tension on the forecourts increases. Some companies have introduced rationing. Competition measures have been stopped so that fuel companies can cooperate on logistics. Another move the government has made is to try backing up UK tanker drivers, with foreigners no longer able to work here because of Brexit. Short-term visas are available for 5,000 foreign truck drivers. It isn't guaranteed to work. Andrew Simmons, Al Jazeera, London.
Well, earlier I spoke to Tom Reddy. He's a lorry driver and also a transport consultant at Green Candle Traction. He says the UK's temporary visa scheme is an option, but that it's simply not enough.
We've always had an ageing generation of truck drivers in this country. The younger demographic aren't taking up the positions because it's not particularly appealing in terms of the working hours, the poor conditions. Pay does play a part in it, but it's not the whole story. We do expect a lot from our truck drivers in the UK, and we need to start looking at the overall structure of the role and the structure of the industry to see, because otherwise, if nothing changes, there's not going to be a future for truck drivers in the UK. It's not a job people want to do in the 21st century. It's a difficult situation, but the writing has been on the wall for the transport industry for 10, 15 years or more in terms of the shortage. The build up to Brexit, again, we could see what was coming around the corner, and the industry have been quite vocal in what they were concerned about, and now we're seeing the very, very acute effects, the eye of the storm, if you like, with the situation. There's no easy way out and there's no quick fix, and what we're doing now in terms of the measures taken, the visa situation, talk of the armed forces supporting, it's all very, very questionable about where we go from here.
And finally, on Spain's Canary Island, the Palma, fears are growing that lava from a volcano on its eastern coast could reach the ocean. If that happens, it threatens to release toxic gases, putting the health of the coastal villagers at risk. Al Jazeera's Nicholas Haig reports.
Awake. Again. It seems there is no stopping Spain's Cumbre Vieja volcanic flow. Earlier, the giant crater fell silent, leaving an eerie calm in what were once lively coastal villages. It has caused so much destruction. Homes and memories of generations of families living on the volcano's foothill, charred by the swelling and pouring lava as it inches towards the ocean. How to explain this loss to her grandchildren, wonders Andrea Rodriguez Concepcion.
The truth is, I'm very sad. Everyone is losing their homes. The volcano keeps me up at night. This is a shock to all of us.
Panicked villagers are fleeing. Others are staying put despite the dangers. Almost 7,000 people are displaced and cannot return to their homes.
It is very unpredictable, the situation. It's very tense and calm at the same time. So to manage this stress in a very long race, because this is not a speed race. For us, we are going to work for weeks with them, is the most difficult thing.
Experts fears what will happen when the lava of 1,000 degrees Celsius reaches the cold Atlantic Ocean. A haze of toxic chemicals made up of sulfur dioxide, hydrochlorine, and volcanic acid will fill the air. This is likely to cause skin and eye irritation. Breathing the fumes can be fatal. Shipping vessels have been advised to stay clear of the area to avoid being exposed to potential acid rainfalls.
There is no escaping volcanic activity on the island of La Palma. Look right behind me. Billowing in the sky is a cloud of ash from Cumbre Vieja, and we're in the southwest of the island. Here, authorities have even started recording seismic activity, with tremors gaining intensity, putting at risk this small village of Fuencaliente on the edge of the cliff.
Fuencaliente's tourist hotels have become shelters for the displaced. Schools are shut, with authorities in the area calling on people to stay indoors. Andrea watches powerless, an unfolding tragedy, rattled by the powerful sound of nature. Tonight, again, she will not sleep. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera, Fuencaliente, La Palma, Spain.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. That is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Wednesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.